Hello, want to know how to do podcasts in your classroom? For example, what preparation is needed? This podcast by Michael Cowling on the 18th of January 2010 might help. Let's begin by setting the context. See podcasting as part of the classroom learning program rather than as an end in itself. The golden rule is the better the content, the better the podcast. So it's best to start with content the students have already created. This could be a story, a poem, a report of an excursion or a study in science, or a description of how to do a skill in PE. Having the content already done allows the students to focus on getting the best preparation and presentation of their podcast. You will need to book the computers, preferably laptops, for about 3 weeks of lessons. It's easier to manage background noise if you use laptops rather than desktop computers in a lab, where background sounds such as talking during recording will be a major problem. So it will be better if you can book empty classrooms nearby so that your students can record in peace and quiet, yet be close enough for you to keep an eye on them. If you use Apple laptops, then the built-in mic at the top of the screen will be fine. By the way, if it's impossible to find enough quiet spaces, then split your class so that some groups are podcasting and others are working on other tasks. How-to notes for podcasting will be handy for each group of students to have when they have a question or a problem and you're busy helping another group. You can get how-to podcasting notes from my public site. The address is on the screen. And then scroll down to the file MacBook Treasure Hunt Podcasting.pdf. This is really a learning game involving collecting treasure along the learning journey. You can choose to do the treasure hunt. The more treasures, the more printing credits gained. Or you can edit out the treasure hunt references. An alternative activity is a good strategy for students not interested in making a podcast. There's no point in forcing students to make a podcast, because then they are likely to disrupt the others keen to have a go. Set up small groups. About 3 students is best, 4 is okay, but any more can be tricky because of the difficulty in seeing the screen and taking turns. Friendship is often the best basis for forming a group because the dynamics are easier to manage and the learning higher quality. Number the groups so that you can match with the same number laptop. This makes it easier for everyone to continue each lesson and for you to check progress. Generally, it's better to save to the local drive rather than the network. Number a set of USBs so that they can be matched as well with the groups for backing up. Before anyone starts podcasting, you will need to do the trust speech. This is because the groups will be working in different rooms, often when you're not there, even though you will be coming around frequently to see how each group is going. The trust speech should emphasise positive behaviours. For example, be good, work hard, take turns, etc. The consequences of mucking around are already covered in the school's student behaviour management policy. In particular, podcasting for naughty students would probably have to stop immediately. Remind the students that help is coming because you'll be coming around frequently and they'll also have the how-to notes. Just as it's normal to tell students the learning task and how it will be assessed at the beginning of a project, so you'll need to treat podcasting the same way. The task should link with a relevant curriculum standard. For example, the podcast provides an opportunity for students to be successful at the curriculum requirement to produce a spoken text about a topic of personal and community interest. For examples of rubrics and assessment proformas, please go to my public site and then the folder Rubrics and Assessment. As a rough guide for a first podcast, 1 to 2 minutes is the best running time. Any shorter and it may lack content. Any longer and it may start to drag. On the other hand, if the story or report needs longer, then that's okay. Your overview should also include the steps in the podcasting process. Mention the opportunities for enhancing their podcasts with photos and sound effects. If it's not their own work, then the normal rules about acknowledging apply. If possible, show an example. You're welcome to use the examples in the folder, rubrics and assessment. You will need to talk about copyright early in the podcasting process. Otherwise, your school could be in a big and expensive problem. Students can use background music provided they have permission in writing. It's important to remember that background music is exactly that and should not dominate the voice tracks. Encourage the students to make their own background music and then they will own the copyright. Related to copyright is the talent release. It's important to get parental permission for your students to be recorded in any format before the podcasts start. You're welcome to download a pro forma from my public site. There's an explanation at the top of the form. There's also at the spot at the top for the rare occasion when permission cannot be granted. Finally, in your prep, it's worth considering getting students to dream the possibilities and technical solutions. So taking photos on their phones and Bluetoothing to the laptops is fast, free, and saves you organising cameras. If necessary, get special permission for phones to be used for this purpose in your lessons. Otherwise, normal school rules still apply. When creating titles on the laptop, on a Mac, they can be easily photographed using the keystrokes Command plus Shift and 4 all at the same time. If you have questions, need more information, please email me.